Infinity War is right around the corner, Mitch. We can pretty much smell Infinity War. Like the popcorn is already starting to be popped for this movie because it's going to sell out of everything every theater chain has to offer. So here's the thing: early estimates are coming in 200 million opening weekend. They are way underselling this movie.
Yeah, yeah. But are they? I mean, like, it's obviously going to be over 200 million. You don't beat Black Panther's through ticket sales and then come under 200 million. I honestly have no idea what it's going to do.
So, just from talking with one of my friends, analysts, I've talked about this dude before, he's saying Disney's being very optimistic. They're saying 150 to 180 opening weekend. So, naturally, they're looking at Age of Ultron and Civil War, but you know it's going to be way more than that.
Oh, yeah. You don't advertise something as the end constantly. We all know it's not the end, but they're definitely pushing that aspect of it.
Like, we know why they're saying 150 to 180, because you tell that to the shareholders who put millions of dollars to back your product up, and then you go, hey guys, remember how we said 150 to 180? They go, yeah. They go, we did 270. And they go, what? And every single suit is satisfied. So the next movie, when you say 200 million, they all put their money down to advertise and, co-finance and stuff. And you deliver 300 on opening weekend. They go, well, we're happier now. So Disney's being the Disney studio, the cautious, optimism, and they're smart about it. But 200 million is definitely underselling this movie because it's going to be huge. Like, it's going to be...
I don't even want to think about what this is going to make.
The thing is, I've seen many numbers start to fly out from some of the people I've talked to, and it's like, there's some very interesting things people are looking at, but all of them are saying this movie is going to be it's going to blow away expectations. And I know there is the one, and this is the big factor that people are still questioning, the Black Panther factor.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is that 200 million taken into account Black Panther, or is it just the movie itself?
So
I can see it just being the movie itself.
So from what I'm understanding from one dude I've talked to, it's just the movie itself. They're not even ready to factor into Black Panther thing because it's like and we've seen it already. Some of the billboards and banners that are showing up around towns, Black Panther in certain communities is put in the forefront because they know the demographics they're targeting. Just like in New York, if you're in Times Square, Spider-Man is getting the big push there because you gotta regionalize. So honestly, I know it's early to talk about this. I'm saying this movie's gonna top like 240 for the opening weekend. Like it's
yeah, I can see that. And 240, 250 at push.
Oh my god. And I've seen some other crazy analysts like he's like, no, by the time the first weekend isn't even upon us, it's going to have topped Justice League worldwide.
That's going to be nuts. Mm-hmm. Right, if that's the case, then right. What did Justice League make? It was like 790, wasn't it? Something like that? No, it didn't.
No, it was like 640.
Yeah. Right, so 640 before the weekend's even out. That's crazy.
Yep.
Now, the big question is, does this movie beat Avatar?
In its total box office?
Can this crack 2 billion and just push that a little bit further? I think Avengers 4's got that on lock, to be honest. If this one can just come under less, and then it's like, no, we could now have the second part here, and this is the last Chris Evans movie with Captain America, I think that's going to knock it up.
So, I'm going to bring up the whole all-time records. Let's see what we got. I can't remember what exactly Avatar has as the biggest.
I think
of all
Avatar
time.
Was 2.1, 2.2.
No. Okay, so Titanic is 2.1. Star Wars is like 2.06. Avatar is 2.7.
Christ, is it really that high?
Yeah, I thought it was like 2.2 tops.
No.
My God. So, it's so weird because you look at it and all-time domestic, it holds second because The Force Awakens has number one. Black Panther is creeping up on it, which is kind of amazing. Black Panther's going to pass Titanic.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I think it could take down Titanic. with 2.2 billion 187 million. I think it could take that down, but Avatar is such a far cry. I think it's going to be a while till something takes Avatar down.
What do you think the odds are that they'll re-release Infinity War before Avengers 4? Or at least after they have Avengers 4, and then like the next year they re-release that like both of them in cinemas together.
I mean, they should, but Disney has a record of not really doing that a lot, and I don't know why, because they can make bank on those. Like,
I mean, didn't they re-release Frozen? No, they just kept Frozen in for eternity, didn't they?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, they could do that. Keep Infinity War in there for a year. Go do it then. It's strange. They don't release it in cinemas, but they re-release like the home video, like every couple of years. That's a weird one.
It's weird because this movie's going to do big right out the gate, but then we've also talked about that other factors where Avengers 1 came out, and also Avatar. They both brought something new to cinemas, and they came out before the modern day cinematic boom. So that's why those movies did so big. And like Star Wars is Star Wars. It was the first one after Return of the Jedi that's like an actual sequel, so people were hyped on that. And we see, The Last Jedi didn't do that. The next one's probably not even going to do as good as The Force Awakens. That's just typically how Star Wars has went. So you start looking at Infinity War and you're like, could this is definitely going to crack Avengers numbers. That's not a problem, but it's that whole...
No, I think it's a different case to Star Wars. Star Wars, this hasn't got 3 movies that are kind of bringing it down. And they're not really that divisive like The Last Jedi has been.
True.
You haven't really had... people have said it, but Age of Ultron still cracked over these, what? It was 400 million.
Everybody was laughing because Age of Ultron was a quote-unquote failure for Disney, even though all it did was fall, 4 or 5, not even that many millions under the original Avengers. So,
yeah.
It's...
I mean, sure, Disney came out and was like, oh yeah, it didn't do as good as we wanted it to, but he still made how much money?
Yep.
I don't know. There's so many factors into it.
And here's one of the big factors I don't think people are looking into. Age of Ultron, you're going into that, and you're looking at some of the other movies that built up to it, like Thor: The Dark World. People were iffy on that, and there was a few iffy movies here and there, right? But going into Infinity War, you're following Spider-Man: Homecoming, universally loved. Thor: Ragnarok, universally loved. Black Panther, worldwide phenomenon. So you're following 3 very big hitters, and Guardians 2, even that movie was loved by many people. The box office shows it. So you're following all these great home runs you've had, where previous films you've had a home run and then you stumbled, then you kind of fell on your face here and there. So this is the first time you're going into an Avengers movie where every movie has been loved so far. So
yeah,
it's
and it looks the most different to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a payoff from 10 years, and people have to know that.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe will push it a bit further.
You can hope so, because I think this movie is going to be pretty big in box office, and it's just a matter of time before we get the final, here's the weekend, here's the predictions, where of course we'll be talking about that. But yeah, there is a lot of factors that go into this. So I'm confident this movie can be the one to take Titanic down. This can do it. If there's one Marvel movie that can do it, I think it's this one. But it all hinges on also how big is Avengers 4, because, whatever the title is...
Here's the thing, that no matter what Avengers 4 is, no matter what that movie does, it'll be bigger than Infinity War.
Yeah.
Because it's the second half of it.
Yep.
It's just guaranteed billions at that point.
Yeah. So we'll get back to you guys on the upcoming shows, because quite clearly there's going to be a lot to talk about in regards to Infinity War, box office, and various other things. So we'll swing back around to this topic.